Today we learn Mathematics 3. This is for the BTech courses. Paper code for the Computer Science and Engineering MCSC 301. Paper code for Information Technology MIT 301. Lecture classes 46 for Computer Science and Engineering. Paper code MCSC 301. Module 6 Graph Theory. Lecture is 38. Paper code is MIT 301. Module 3 Graph Theory. In the lecture class 46, today we learn the adjacency matrix of a graph, trees and their properties and related theorems. Lecture 38 for MIT 301, Module 3. Today we learn adjacency matrix of a graph, trees and their properties related theorems. Matrix representation of a graph. We already learned in the previous class that the incidency matrix of a graph. Today we learn adjacency matrix of a graph and also for a diagram. Let G be a graph with the n vertices and having no parallel edges. Then the vertex set of G V equal to V set is with the vertices V1, V2, Vn. Define an n cross n symmetric binary matrix Aij, that is the n cross n, is called a adjacency matrix or the connection matrix of G. If that means for adjacency matrix of a graph and n number of vertices, basically we will get a square matrix Aij, which is a binary matrix 0, 1, 1, and it is a symmetric matrix. Now it is called adjacency matrix if it is like that. Aij is equal to 1 when vertex Vi to Vj are connected by an edge. Vi to Vj. This is the undirected graph. So at the same time, if Aij is equal to 1, then Aj equal to also 1. Connected means if Vi is connected to Vj, obviously Vj is connected to Vi. So when Aij is equal to 1, at the same time Aj is equal to 1. That's why it is a symmetric binary matrix. If the two vertices are not connected by an edge, then that is equal to 0 when there is no edge between Vi and Vj. The matrix A equal to Aij m cross n is called a adjacency matrix and it is normally denoted by A within the bracket G. G means that is the graph G. Whatever the notation of the graph G we are using, we are writing that A within the bracket of the graph notation. If AII, that means any diagonal element is equal to 1, then we say there is a self loop at Vi. Ai equal to 1, then there is a self loop. Any vertex of the self loop, that vertex, that means edge connecting the vertices by an edge, that means there is a loop Ai equal to 1. That means Vi and Vi is connected by an edge. That means there is a loop. Determine the adjacency matrix of the following graph. This graph is given. From that we have to find out the adjacency matrix. The graph has how many vertices is there? 4, 5 and the 6. Total the 6 vertex is there. The graph has the 6 vertices. Therefore the adjacency matrix is of order 6 cross 6. That means we will get a adjacency matrix of a square matrix of order 6 and that adjacency matrix be a symmetric matrix. First, if I check V1 is connected to V2 and V1 is connected to V5, that means E1, A2, that element equal to 1 and V1, A1, 5 equal to 1. On the other hand, again, V2 is connected to V1, that means A2, 1 is equal to 1 V5 is connected to V1. That means A51 equal to 1. Let's see in the next slide. Therefore, the required adjacency matrix is that. Now I am considering one by one. V1 is connected to V2. V1 is connected to, it is the one missing is there, 1. This should be the 1. V1 is connected to V2. So this should be the 1. Now in this way, V1 is connected to V2, 1. This should be the symmetric matrix 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0. It should be the first column and first row should be the same 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0. Now V2 is connected to V5, 1. In the same way, V5 is 1. So V5 is connected to V1. So A51 equal to 1. Again, I am considering V4. V4 is connected to V6, V5 and V2. V4 is connected to, at the same time if we consider V2, V2 is connected to V1, V5, V3 and V4. So one by one, V2. V2 is connected to V1, V2 is connected to V3, V2 is connected to V3, V2 is connected to V4, V4 and V2 is connected to V5. So second row obviously be the second column. 1, 0. This should be the 1. I already said that this is the mistake. There should be the 1. 1, 0, 1, 1, 1. 1, 0, 1, 1, 0. Now third, V3 is only connected to V2. V3 is only connected to V2. At the same way, V3 is only connected to V2. So each and this is a symmetric. Now if we check V4 and the V6, V6 is only connected to V4. V6 is only connected to V4. And if I check, V4 is connected to V2, V5 and V6. V4 is connected to V2. Then V5, V5 and V6. V6 is only connected to V4. So this matrix is known as the adjacency matrix. Adjacency matrix is the vertex to vertex connection. This is the number of vertices in the top and side number of vertices. This is the vertex and vertex connection. That's why it is a square symmetric matrix and 0, 1 combination. That's why it is a binary symmetric matrix. Suppose there is a self loop in the V3. Suppose it is not here. Suppose there is a self loop. I can draw, you can draw also. So what would be V3? That means A33. A33. This should be the 1 if there is a self loop. Then V33. If there is a self loop, suppose. Then V6. That means 6, 6. That will be 1. If there is a V1, there is a self loop. 1, 1. This should be the 1. If AII position, that means any diagonal position which is the intersection of that vertices, there should be a self loop. Now we already learned from graph is given, then we can make the adjacency matrix. That adjacency matrix is a square and symmetric matrix. Now if the adjacency matrix is given, then how to draw the graph with the help of the adjacency matrix. This is the adjacency matrix is given. With the help of the adjacency matrix, we have to draw the graph. Now adjacency matrix is of order 4 by 4. This is the adjacency matrix of the order 4 and check it. This is symmetric 0 0 1 1 0 0 1 1 0 triple 1 0 triple 1 triple 1 0 triple 1 0. So this is a binary square symmetric matrix. Since there are the 4 rows and 4 columns, that means we have the 4 vertices of the graph. First we label the 4 vertices, then we draw the edge according to the connectivity mentioned in the adjacency matrix. What are the vertices? Let the V1, V2, V3, V4 be the vertices. Now with the help of that, let's try to draw the graph. First we are labeling the adjacency matrix with the vertex, then we draw that. Now suppose V1, that means this is the element A11 equal to 1. That means at the V1 there is a self loop. Again V1 is, that means V A12 equal to 0, A13 equal to 0. That means there is no connection of V1 with the vertex V2 and V3. Again A14 equal to 1. That means V1 connected to V4. So similarly, this way we can find out the connectivity. If we consider the vertex V3, suppose A32 equal to 1, A33 is equal to 1, and A34 equal to 1. That means V3 is connected to V2, V4, and since A33 is equal to 1, that means at the vertex V3 there is a self loop. Now we construct the graph G. See, this is our the adjacency matrix. This is a graph V1. From that, V1 is the vertex. There is a self loop, and V3 is there. That's why the at the V3 there is a self loop. Now V1 is connected to V4. V1 is connected to V4. From that, V2 and V3 is connected. V2 and V3 is connected. V2 is also connected to V4. V2 is also connected to V4. First, we have to place the 4 vertex. Then, according to this adjacency matrix, with the value connectivity, we have to add by an edge. Then, we put finally the self loop. V4 is connected with V1, V2, V3. V4 is connected to V1, V2, V3. 3 edges from V4 and connecting the vertices V1, V2, V3. So this is our the graph corresponding to the adjacency matrix given adjacency matrix. This is the our graph G. Observations. Adjacency matrix is a binary matrix since each of its element is either 1 or 0. The elements along the principal diagonal of an adjacency matrix A equal to Aij n by n are all 0, normally all 0, if and only if the corresponding graph has no self loop. If any diagonal elements have not equal to 0 and have value 1, that means corresponding vertex have or vertices have the self loop. If the AII equal to 1, that means at the vertex VI have an self loop. If k number of parallel edges between the two vertices Vi and Vj, then Aij is equal to Aj is equal to k. Normally we are not considering the parallel edges, but if there is a parallel edges, suppose if there is a parallel edges between V4 and V2, V4 and V2, I am considering V4 and V2. So this will be 2. That means as many connection between them, as many connection V2 and V4 is 2. At the same time, V4 and V2 will be the 2 if there is the 2 parallel edges. If there is 3 parallel edges, then this will be 3 and this will be 3. If there are the k number of parallel edges, so then this will be k and this will be k. I am considering only the V2 and V4. There are k number of parallel edges. That means there are the connectivity, k number of connectivities between the V2 and V4. That's why V2 and V4 replace 1 by k and V4, V2, 1 replaced by k. This is the note is there. Aij is equal to Aji is equal to K. If the graph has no self loops and no parallel edges, the degree of a vertex is equal to the number of ones in the corresponding row or the column of a adjacency matrix. Since it is a symmetric matrix, if we add along the row, whatever the how many ones is there, that is the degree of the vertices. At the same way, if we add number of ones along the column, that is the degree of the vertices corresponding to that column. Permutation of rows and of the corresponding columns of an adjacency matrix imply reordering the vertices. That means if we interchange the column to column or row to row, that means reordering the vertices. That name to be changed. It is noted that the rows and the columns must be arranged in the same order. So if two rows are interchanged in an adjacency matrix A, the corresponding column must also be interchanged. That means when we are interchanging, suppose V2 and V3 row, corresponding row, that means second row and third row, if we change, at the same time, we have to change the second column and third column according to the order of the changes. If I say the ith row, pth row and the kth row is changed, then the pth column and the qth column should be interchanged. Hence, two graphs G1 and G2 without the parallel edges are isomorphic if and only if their adjacency matrix AG1 and AG2 are related by AG2 is equal to R inverse, that is the number of permutation, AG1R, where R is a permutation matrix. That means if we have the two adjacency matrix of the two different graph, but in the saying instantly we cannot say that two graph is isomorphic. After changing or the permutation, one or both, ultimately we will get the same matrix, adjacency matrix, then we can say that the two graphs are symmetric. If we have the two adjacency matrix, after interchanging or the permutation, if second one is similar to the first one, then we can say both the graph are symmetric. Given any square symmetric and binary matrix Q of order n, one can always construct a graph G of n vertices without the parallel edges such that Q is the adjacency matrix of G. That means the symmetric adjacency matrix. I mean, we are considering that there is no parallel edges. So easily we can construct the graph G from an adjacency matrix. Adjacency matrix of a digraph. Now we are considering the graph is not an undirected graph, it is a directed graph. That means edge incident out from a vertex to a incident into a vertex. That means the edge direction from the vertex, ith vertex to the jth vertex. If we say the edge direction of the edge from the vi vertex to the ji vertex. Let G be a digraph with n vertices and having no parallel edges. As per our consideration, we are considering that is no parallel edges. Let the vertex set of G be V is V1, V2, Vn, the binary square matrix. In this case, it cannot be the symmetric matrix. That's why we are saying it is a binary square matrix A equal to Aij n by n. It's called adjacency matrix or the connection matrix of the digraph G. If it is satisfying these conditions. Aij is equal to 1. Aij, that means the edge directed from Vi to Vj, then Aij is equal to 1. If there is an edge directed from ith vertex to jth vertex, I index we are considering according to the row and j we are considering according to the column. That means Vi, that means the vertex in the ith row is directed from Vi to the j, that means vertex in the jth column, that element Aij will be 1 if there is an edge directed from the ith vertex to Vi to the jth vertex Vj. Otherwise 0. If there is no connection between the vertices, then it is 0. The matrix A equal to Aij, it is a square matrix. N by N is called the adjacency matrix of a digraph and it is normally denoted by Ag. G is the notation of the graph. According to the definition of the adjacency matrix of the digraph, let us consider a digraph. With the help of this graph, we have to construct the adjacency matrix of the digraph. How many vertices is here? 5, 6, 4, 5, 6. The given digraph has 6 vertices. Therefore, the adjacency matrix is a binary matrix and order 6. Square matrix, obviously it is a square matrix and order is 6 by 6. This is our the given graph. Edge direction is given. Let us consider a adjacency matrix. First we leveling the vertex. Vertex is A, B, C, D, E, F. According to that we leveling the vertices, that means the column heading and row heading by the vertex notation A, B, C, D, E, F, A, B, C, D, E, F. Now according to the connection, A, this edge directed from A to B. A considered in this way. A, an edge direction connected by A to B is direction A to B. A to B, that is 1. A has no any other edge directed from A to other vertices. Only 1 is there and others element is 0. Now consider the B vertex. Edge directed from B to E. Is directed from B to E. 1. Is directed from B to C. Is directed from B to C. That is 1. That means the BC element, or we can call it A 2, 3 element. If we leveling it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is there. 1, 2, 6 vertices is there. Now, from C is directed from C to E, is directed from C to E and C to D, C to E and C to D, 1, 1. Is directed from E to D, E to F, is directed from E to E and E to F, E to D and E to F. From D, there is no edge directed from D to. All the edges is incident in from E and C. And from D, there is no edge incident out. That's why the elements corresponding, row element corresponding to the vertex D, all are 0. Since there is no edge incident out from the D and incident into the other vertices. That's why all the elements, row elements corresponding to the D vertex are 0. Construct the adjacency matrix of the diagram. There is a self loop at the 3. Vertex is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5, 6. This graph is a disconnected graph. This is the one part and this is the one part. This is a connected graph, this is a connected graph, but G is itself a disconnected graph, but it is a directed diagram. The given graph has how many vertices? 4 and 2, 6 vertices. Therefore, the adjacency matrix of the given diagram be 6 by 6 square matrix. The adjacency matrix of the diagram is according to that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now consider from 1, 5 to 6 only one edge, 5 to 6, 5 to 6 only one edge. No edge incident out from 6 and incident into the other vertices. That's why all the elements of the row element are 0 corresponding to the vertex 6. Now 1 to 2 and 2 to 1. See, 1 to 2, 1 to 2, 1 and 2 to 1 is 1. They are both in the different direction. 1 to 2 and 2 to 1. Don't confuse with that. They are not the parallel. They are not parallel. So in this way, easily we can find out make the table by 0 and 1 combination. Now considering 2 and 4, age from 2 to 4, 2 to 3, 2 to and 2 to 1 is there already. 2 to 3 and 2 to 4, 1. And 2 to 1 is also there. Again, if we consider the 3, only there is one edge, that is the self loop at the 3 element. That means A33 is 1 and all other elements are 0. 5 to 6 is there. 4 to 1 and 4 to 3. 4 to 1 and 4 to 3. 4 to 1 and 4 to 3. All other elements are 0. Now, construct the graph. We already learned from the graph to the adjacency matrix of a diagram. Now here is one adjacency matrix. From that we have to prepare the diagram. If we check, this is not a symmetric square matrix. This is a square matrix, but this is not the symmetric. That means it is a adjacency matrix of a diagram. Construct the graph G whose adjacency matrix is given here. AG equal to this. Here AG is a square, non-symmetric and binary matrix. So it represents an adjacency matrix of a diagram. If it is symmetric, then it is represent the adjacency matrix of a undirected graph. Since it is not symmetric, it is represent the adjacency matrix of a diagram. So according to the definition, from that you have to make the diagram. First, how many vertex is there? 5 vertex. First we have to label and rewrite this by labeling that. Then we prepare the graph, or we can make the graph. This is the labeling. Since 5 vertices is there, 1 to 5 and 1 to 5. This is our the adjacency matrix. And from that we can check A11 equal to 0, A12 equal to 1, A13 is equal to 1 and A4 is equal to 1. That means A is directed from V1 to V2, V1 to V3 and V1 to V4. Again V2 and V3 connection is there. 2, 3 equal to 1. That means A is directed from V2 to V3. First we have to point the vertices V1, V2, V3, V4, V5. According to the connectivity, now if we check here, V4 and V4, one diagonal element, that is the A44 is equal to 1. That means there is a self loop, directed self loop. at V4. V5, V2 is 1. That means A52 is 1. That means one edge directed from V5 to V2. According to that, you have to make the directed graph. This is adjacent symmetrics inside Y, and this is V4. This is not V1. This is V1, V2, V3, V5, V4. V5 to V2. That's why V5 to V2. Sorry. Now observations related to the adjacent symmetrics of a diagram. G. Diagram G. A is a symmetric matrix if and only if G is a symmetric diagram. Symmetric diagram normally we are not getting. If AII is equal to 1, there is a self loop at the ith vertex and every non-zero element on the main diagonal represents a self loop at the corresponding vertex. That I already said. The adjacency matrix is defined only for a diagram without the parallel edges. The sum of each row, the row wise, if we sum, or the number of ones is equal to the out degree of the corresponding vertex, because we are considering connection from Vi to Vj. So out degree vertex we can calculate. The sum of each column equals to the in degree. That means from Vi to Vj, it is incident to the Vj. If we add column wise, we will get the in degree of the column wise vertex. Row wise vertex, we will get the out degree of that corresponding vertex. If we add the column wise, we will get the in degree corresponding to that vertex. The sum of each column equal to the in degree of the corresponding vertex. The number of ones in A equal to the number of degree in G. That is already discussed. Permutation of any two rows accompanied by a permutations of the corresponding column in A does not alter the underlying diagram. The permutation merely corresponds to a recording of the vertices in the diagram. So permutation we can do for checking whether the two graph is isomorphic or not. Hence two diagrams are isomorphic if and only if their adjacency matrices differ only by such permutations. If A is the adjacency matrix of a diagram G, then the transpose matrix, suppose we are considering the transpose matrix is AT, is the adjacency matrix of a diagram G star. That means we'll get the G star by changing the directions of the edges, obtaining by reversing, by changing the direction, reversing the direction of the arrow of every edge in G. For any square binary matrix Q, that is a square matrix with its element is either 1 or 0 of order n, there exists a unique diagram G of n vertices such that Q is the adjacency matrix of G. It is, we already learned. If G is that a diagram, if Q is the adjacency matrix, from the Q we can make it the G. If G is a diagram, from the G we can get the adjacency matrix Q. Adjacency matrix of disconnected graph or the diagram. Adjacency matrix for a graph or a diagram, if it is a disconnected, we can make the two different adjacency matrix, then combined we will get the adjacency matrix of the graph. Otherwise, we can do also, we can make the adjacency matrix of the graph, then it has the disconnected part. If we consider the two disconnected part of the graph, then we will get the two adjacency matrix, and combining we will get that. From the combined adjacency matrix, we can decompose it into a two different part. Let G be a disconnected graph of a graph or the digraph, and consist of the two components. In this case, we are considering that graph G has a two component, G1 and G2. Then the adjacency matrix AG can be written in a block diagonal forms as AG1 is the adjacency matrix of the graph G1, and AG2 is adjacency matrix of the graph G2. So we can put it diagonal wise. This part, not this element, this part of a square matrix, this part is the adjacency matrix of the graph G1, and this part is the adjacency matrix of the graph 2. There is no common part, and rest of the part is with 0. That means this is a null matrix. We can call it O or whatever may be. That is the bolt O is the null matrix, where AG1, AG2 are the adjacency matrix of the corresponding components G1 and G2 respectively, and O, that is the bolt O, is a null matrix, or we can call it also the 0. Bolt 0 is the null matrix. The adjacency matrix of a disconnected graph or the digraph consisting more than two components can also be written in the block diagonal form. We can also, that is written in the case of the incidence matrix, also we can do that. If a graph G has the two components G1 and G2, we can also represent by a diagonal blocked notation. Block diagonal notation, we can write also the incidence matrix. Now we enter into the tree. Little bit discussion here with the one or two theorem, then rest of the part we will do in the next class. Tree is a part of the graph theory. Now we are entering into the tree, learn few definition and introduction, and two theorems I want to discuss today. Then next class we learn lots of the things. Introduction. The concept of a tree is probably the most important in a graph theory, and trees form one of the most widely used subclass of a graph. It was discovered by Cayley in 1857. We know the name Cayley because when we learned the algebra, matrix algebra, that time we got the Cayley-Hamilton theorem. Each and every square matrix satisfies its own characteristic equation. That name we already know in the first semester. Who related his work on trees to the study of the chemical composition. That means in the chemical compound, then it is in the bond structure. Trees arises in many practical applications. For example, in computer science, trees are very useful in organizing and relating data in a database. File folders are also represented in hard disks by a tree structure. Tree and their properties. Tree. A tree is a connected graph without any circuit. What is called the circuit? If there is more than one path between the two vertices, suppose we are calling Vi and Vj two vertices in a connected graph. If there is more than one path between the Vi and Vj, that means More than one path makes a circuit. That's why we are saying a tree is a connected graph, but without any circuit. It should be a connected graph, but there is no circuit. The graph shown here. This is a figure 1. This is a tree. See, from any vertex to any vertex, we can move by a path. There is a one path, only one path, not more than one path connected. This is also tree. Any vertex, from this vertex to I can reach there by this way. So every pair of vertices there is a path. That's why it is called a connected without any circuit in easy way. Other way you can say if there is only one path between every pair of vertices, only one path. If there is more than one path, we'll get the circuit. It should not be any circuit between every pair of vertices. This is the one vertex tree. This is two vertex tree. This is three vertex tree. This is four vertex tree. This is the another form of the four vertex tree. This is five vertex tree. This is another form of the five vertex tree. This is also, you can do the graph like that also, five vertex. This is also the five vertex. Trivial and non-trivial tree. This is trivial. And all others are non-trivial. Trivial and non-trivial tree. A tree T with only one vertex is called a trivial tree. Otherwise, T is called a non-trivial tree. Only one vertex. So this is the trivial tree, and all others more than one vertex is the non-trivial tree. Note, a tree is a connected simple graph. It is neither self-loop nor parallel edges. If self-loop is there, that means there is a circuit. If there is any parallel edge between the two vertices, then there is a circuit also. Is because they both form the circuits. Trees appears in numerous instances. For example, a river with its tributaries and sub-tributaries can be represented. That means the branches of the river can be represented by a tree. The sorting of mail according to the pin code, normally it is known as the zip code, is done according to a tree structure. That means place. This is our the sorting point. From that we are making the place wise sorting. That is the box is there, place wise sorting box we place there. From that it is make a tree called a decision tree or the sorting tree. Decision tree also little bit different, where is the expected return is there. It is the probabilistic method, that is the decision tree, where we can take our the decision. Also this sorting process also we can call it the decision, because we are checking the address and take the decision where it will go, in which box it will go. Tree and their properties. Forest. What is called the forest? A collection of trees is called a forest. So this is the collection of the trees. So this is a forest. There is not only the one tree. There is the collection of the trees. Each and every tree is connected, but they are separated. That's why it is a forest. Theorem. A graph. This is a graph is a tree. A graph is a tree if and only if there is one and only one path between every pair of vertices in it. If and only if, in this case, we have to show it's a necessary condition and sufficient condition. We have to prove it necessary and sufficient condition. A G is a tree. That means a graph G is said to be the tree if and only if there is one and only one path between every pair of vertices in G. From the only one path, from that we have to prove it is a connected graph and there is no circuit. Another way we have to consider it is a tree and we have to show that there is no circuit. Let G be a tree. In this case, we are considering let G be a tree, necessary condition. We know what is the definition of a tree, a connected graph without circuit. Then it is a tree by the definition. So let G be a tree, then G must connect it. That means every pair of vertices has exactly one path. Hence, there must exist at least one path between every pair of vertices in G. Suppose that between the two vertices Vi and Vj of G, there are two distinct paths. Let us assume that we are considering that they are existing more than one path. That means we are considering two paths between the two vertices Vi and Vj. The union of these two paths will contain a circuit. But according to the definition of tree, it is a connected but there is no circuit. Contain a circuit and G cannot be a tree. Hence, if G is a tree, then there is only one path between every pair of the vertices in G. This is the one part and proof necessary condition. Sufficient condition. Suppose that there is one and only one path between every pair of vertices. Considering this one and only path, we have to show that the graph is a tree. That means we have to prove there is no circuit and connected. Since there is only one path, we can say easily it is a connected graph. Suppose that there is one and only one path between every pair of the vertices of a graph G. Now, existence of a path between every pair of vertices, assume that G is a connected graph. Since there is a one path between every pair of vertices, from that we can conclude that the given graph is a connected graph. A circuit in a graph having two or more vertices implies that there is at least one pair of vertices Vi and Vj such that there are the two distinct paths between Vi and Vj. Let us consider if there is a circuit between the two vertices Vi and Vj, that means there exists more than one path between the vertices Vi and Vj. But since G has only one path between every pair of the vertices as per our the consideration, so G, from that we can conclude G has only, so it has no circuit. Therefore, G is a tree. First, we are considering more than one path. If the more than one path we are joining, we will get a circuit. But according to that, there should not be more than one path. There is only one path between every pair of the vertices. Therefore, G is a without circuit. G is without circuit. Therefore, G is a tree. A tree with n vertices has n minus 1 edges. Easily we can see that if we back to that our the figure here. Here how many vertices is there? Here how many? 4 vertex. How many edges? 3. Here how many vertex? 4. How many edges? 3 vertex, 2 edges. We are considering this part, then we proceed for the mathematical induction. Let's see here. How many vertex is there? 5. How many edges? 4 edges. Yeah. A tree with n vertices has n minus 1 edges. This is, we prove it by the mathematical induction. That is called the method of induction process. We prove the theorem by the mathematical induction on the number of the vertices. Let us consider first, there is the one vertex. One vertex means there is no edge. The one vertex 1 minus 1 equal to 0. It is proved that. Let us consider the two vertex n equal to 2. How many edges is there? 1. We can write it n minus 1 equal to 1. That means 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. This, consider the three vertex, 2 edge, n equal to 3, e equal to number of edge equal to n minus 1 means 3 minus 1 is equal to 2. So it is easily we can show that the theorem is true for n is equal to 1, 2 and 3. Now we show that it is true for m or less value of the n. Let us consider it is true for n equal to m and less than m. Then we show that it is true for m. This is the one way. Another way you can show that it is true for n equal to k, and also we show that it is true for n equal to k plus 1. And the next induction procedure. First n equal to k, then k plus 1. That way we can do, and we are considering it is true for n equal to m where it is true for less than m. Then we show that it is true for n equal to m. So assume that the theorem holds for all trees fewer than m vertices, and let us consider a tree with the m vertices in T. We are considering a tree of graph, and Ek is an edge of the tree T with the end vertices is Vi and Vj. We have a tree and Ek is an edge which is connecting the two vertices Vi and Vj. In the diagram see, Ek is an edge which is connecting the Vi and Vj. This is the one part of the tree and this is the one part of the tree. Let us consider it. This is our the total tree is here. In T, let Ek be an edge with the end vertices Vi and Vj as shown in the figure. As shown in the figure by previous theorem we learned, there is no other path. In the tree, there is only one path between every pair of vertices that we learned in the previous theorem. Vi and Vj except the Ek, Vi and Vj, there is only the one path between Vi and Vj, that is the Ek. Therefore, removal of Ek, if we remove this Ek, what we will get? We will get the two tree that we are considering as the T1 and T2. Ek, the removal of Ek. Before the removing of Ek, we have the tree T. Now, after removing, what we will get? T will disconnected graph. Further, T minus Ek consists of exactly, if we remove this, let us consider T1 is a tree with p number of vertices and T2 is a tree with the here p number of vertex. So here it is m minus p number of vertices. Total vertex is the m, and this part is consist of the p number of vertices. So this part is consist of m minus p number of vertices. So T minus Ak consist of exactly the two components T1 and T2. Each of these components is a tree. This is a connected tree, this part, and this is a connected tree. And T1 and T2 is the part of the T. Both these trees T1 and T2 have fewer than m because the total vertex is the m. Number of vertices here and number of vertices. Suppose here n1, here n2. So n1 plus n2 is equal to m. But here we are considering this is p. n1 equal to p. n2 is equal to m minus p. And p and m minus p both are less than m. T1 and T2 have the fewer than m vertices each, say p and m minus p vertices respectively. By induction hypothesis, T1 has now, we remove an edge Let T1 has P minus 1 edges. As we remove the 1 edge, so T1 has P minus 1 edges and T2 has M minus P minus 1 edges. Because by induction method we already run, since the our hypothesis is true for less than M. Our hypothesis is less than M. So because T1 has the P number of vertices and also so T1 has the P minus 1 edges and T2 has M minus P vertices. So number of edges will be M minus P minus 1 edges, because M minus P and P both are less than M. That is, our hypothesis is true when it is less than M. Thus T minus Ek consists of how many edges? P minus 1 plus M minus P minus 1 equal to M minus 2 edges. And M vertices. How many vertices is there in the both these two? Both these two have the M vertices. Hence T has T. If we add this edge again, that means Ek. If we again join the Ek between the vertices of Vi and Vj, for the we will get the T. Before the T, in the respect of the T1 and T2, we have number of edges M minus 2. For the T, we will get T if we add by the edge Vi and Vj, that means one edge will be increased. So now our edge will be M minus 1 edges. Therefore, if the theorem is true for all trees with fewer than M vertices, then it is also true for a tree with M vertices. But we have already seen that it is true for M is equal to 1 to 3, therefore it is true for 3 plus 1 equal to 4, 4 plus 1 is equal to 5, etc. That it is true for any positive integer value of n. Hence a tree with n vertices has n minus 1 edges. Next lecture class is 47. For paper code is MCSC 301 module 6, and lecture 39 paper code MIT 301 module 3. Next class we will learn trees and their properties, related theorems, binary tree, spanning tree, DFS. DFS means the depth first search, and BFS breadth first search. Minimal spanning tree we learn. We have to find out the minimal spanning tree, and that is the two method finding the minimal spanning tree. One is the Prim's algorithm and another is the Kruskal algorithm, that we learn in the next class.